What's up everybody, Alex here, and welcome to the Dota Underlords Best Builds of the Week. This week there's been a lot of changes to the jail system, so I've devised a few strategies that are going to go hand in hand with the new jail system, hopefully be resistant to it to help you get an edge in Dota Underlords. First, we are starting with Insects and Assassins. Insects and Assassins have been absolutely top tier for the last 2 weeks. They are doing absolute wonders. Now, the nice thing about Insects is they are relatively resistant to the jail system because, well, there's 4 of them. They're mixed amongst the different tiers for the most part anyway. But the major thing is if you lose 2 insects and you no longer can complete it, then we have an alternative, which is the second build. But as you can see, when we test this here out in battle, it's a very effective build that's going to do a ton of damage very quickly, and especially with those spiderlings. Let's see it in battle. Alright, so we got our Insects and Assassins against our usual suspects. Let's see how they fare. Now, one thing you should notice, watch how the Alchemist is able to destroy the spiders immediately. Alchemist is an excellent counter to spiders because the entire acid area is going to prevent the spiders from ever getting in as soon as they take a moment's damage. Look at that. So the spiders really cannot even impact this build at all, and because of that, we're actually having a hard time. This is actually a much closer fight than it should have been, but again, all because there was an opposing Alchemist, so keep that in mind. If you're seeing a lot of insects against you, which you should be because insects are fantastic, Alchemist is a fantastic choice to counter that. And for our second build of the week, we've got another assassin build, but this time with warriors. Now, given that assassins have 8 units in the build here, they are relatively resistant to the jail system. The only way that this really gets hurt if 3 assassins are taken out of the game, which is possible. Then, well, we got 3 other builds for you. But assassins should be relatively resistant. The only thing is that the Faceless Void is an ace, so he's more likely to get removed by the jail system. But let's say insects are not completable. You got warriors. All you need is 3 of them for this build, so you're going to be able to finish it with the assassins. So if insects aren't available, what I recommend you do, you have the front line here of assassins. They're going to be jumping, so it's not a big deal. Then you have the warriors in the back that are protecting an Essex. An Essex, what you're doing is you're actually be building towards pure pain. You're going to be making sure that pure pain's damage is doubled. It's going to be that your units are going to gain 10 armor with phantom pain here, as long as phantom pain's not phantom pain, but pure pain's being applied. And finally, what you want to do is you want to do the sympathy pains, which means that you're going to be applying 2 pure pains later in the game with your level 30 talent. That's what you're looking for this build. The hero is actually extremely important in this circumstance. It's one of the best ways to get an Essex working in the game. And what you're going to see here is you see how they had a bunch of people jump, like you had the bounty hunter jump and the anti-mage jump, but it was protected by the warriors in the back, and now our assassins, who are our primary DPSs, are able to just work their magic. Queen of Pain almost leading the way. Templar doing a fantastic job as well. But overall, it's a very balanced build because it's protecting your rear line, it's protecting your hero, it's allowing you to get your Underlords pure pain off, and hopefully your DPS is able to out DPS theirs. And for the third build of the week, I've been asked a few times now, Alex, how do I use the new Morphling? Well, this is how you use the new Morphling. What I recommend you do is you go a little contrarian here. Now, the one thing I have to say is that mages, I've mentioned this a few times, mages is very susceptible to the jail system. Now, this is a 9-unit build. The previous 2, I think, were 8 units, but this is a 9-unit build. What you have here is I'm avoiding Lich altogether. You could throw in Lich for Crystal Maiden late game 100%, but I'm going to pretend like Lich is not available. Razor works well in here as well. Like if you want to get rid of Maiden and put Razor there, that works too. But what you're going to see here is, especially with the Brutes and the Barricades, you're just going to hold. You're just holding that defensive line there. You're allowing Morphling to splash right through. You're getting Keeper to cast right through the enemy team, and Puck to do the same thing. The Barricades work amazing in this build. One of the challenges I gave myself was, Alex, how can I make these barricades actually better? How can we use them better? Well, and the nice thing is, Doom and Axe aren't being used all that often right now. Brutes are being basically ignored. And so with the barricades, I'm just going to show you one more time. They literally cannot get to the weaker units. And, Hobgen here, you don't have to spec with Molten Armor. You could be speccing Explosivo, for instance. There's so many different ways you can build him. Because he's protected, you can even build up his attack speed. So overall, a very effective build because it's protecting your primary damage dealers, which are your mages. And keep in mind, you can go after the additional human alliance by, say, you can pull out, say, Doom or Axe for someone like Coccia. That works well as well, but I think that overall, the two brutes in the front, reducing the amount of damage they're taking, and the sheer health that these two units have, definitely helps this build. And for the fourth build of the week, we're going to do something a little contrarian here. We're going to go with Brawnies and Heartless. Now, one thing I'll note is that people are shying away from Heartless because of the fact that the first tier of Heartless was dropped from 5 armor reduction to 3. Not a big deal. We're after the 10 armor reduction, and we're after Brawnies. Now, one thing I should mention to you, we're only doing this build if Brawnies is completable with Bristleback. Now, I know a lot of people like Disruptor. Disruptor's good as well, but Bristleback. Bristleback is the key to this strategy here, and you want him positioned here along with the Abaddon so that he can hopefully get Abaddon's shield to basically just perpetuate the amount of damage Bristleback is doing. You're looking for an Octarine for Bristleback as well, and what you're going to see here is you're going to see a ton of damage from Bristleback right off the bat. Lifestealer coming in off the edge to make sure that he's protecting the back line as well. You're running with an Essex here simply because what you want to do is you actually want to keep your units healed and up for as long as you can. Because they're Brawnies and you're running Heartless, what you want to do is you want to run, for instance, you want to get not the end of medicine, sorry, you want to get Rejuvenating Ritual, because what you're after is you're after the longevity of the fight. You want your Brawnies to just never go down, and you want the healing to keep them up. And guys like Bristleback, especially with Brawny, they're going to be up and they're just going to be continuously doing damage. So you're going to be using an Essex here, speccing towards healing. And again, you're only doing this if Brawnies are completable with Bristleback, and you only need the first 2 tiers of Heartless. And the last build of the week isn't even a build, it's a strategy. You see, because the jail system had got me thinking, Alex, how can you help people when they are, relatively new to the game, or they're having a hard time understanding the jail mechanics? What would you explain that they do? And this is what you do. Essentially, what you do is you're going to take the best units available at any given time, and you're focusing on these units I have on the board, and I'll explain why. First, Doom being, a high-reaching, epic unit. So you can get any epic unit. It could be Tidehunter, it could be Coccia, it could be anyone that has a high impact on the board, but I focus on Doom because when you only have 5 or 6 people on the board and Doom has 2100 HP, he's going to be able to at least cast, hopefully, Doom twice, and he's silencing like 33-40% of their opposing team. Bloodlust with Ogre Magi is super effective when you only have 3, 4, or 5 units on the board, right? You can predict who he's going to hit, and next thing you know, if the fight lasts, especially if you have an Essex instead of Hobgon, suddenly you have, everyone on your team is being Bloodlust. Queen of Pain, she often leads in damage because of the AoE that she's able to do. And a lot of people are avoiding demons right now, strangely enough, but assassins are highly contested in this case. Morphling, his damage is absolutely unbelievable, especially with, his waveform. So he's a very high impact unit. Sniper can basically delete a unit off the board, right? And again, you have the Frostbite of Crystal Maiden, which basically just stuns, for 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, one of the units on the opposing team. These are very debilitating, high impact skills that can really impact the board. So, what do you do now? Later in the game, how do you handle this? Well, let's cut to that. In the late game with the best available strategy, you're going to be looking at something like this, all right? First of all, I left the legendary units at 1 star, and what you have here is you have a few very high impact units. You're just getting the best available to you despite the meta, despite the jail system, whatever the highest tier, most valuable units are. In this case, we happen to get scale, but one thing I want you to kind of look for here is certain synergies between smaller, like-minded units. So, for instance, we know that Viper and Dragon Knight work together because of the Dragon form, right? Perfect, right? Why would we want Dragon form? But what you might not realize is that Sven works wonderfully with Dragon Knight as well, because when he casts God's Strength, which is going to basically increase his damage, he's actually going to increase the amount of damage that the Dragon Knight's going to be able to do as well. Now, in this fight, I want you to note how much damage the Dragon Knight is doing, specifically after it is Sven casts his skill. He does. Look at this. Look at Dragon Knight's DPS just skyrocket. And again, what you're seeing here is simply very expensive, high-tier units doing work, right? They have an incredibly high impact on the board, and you completely roll them. But look at the Dragon Knight, and again, Morphling being a rare unit, look at the amount of damage Morphling's doing. Expect a nerf coming to Morphling, to be honest with you. But again, Dragon Knight with Sven and Viper is an incredible combination, because now you're just boosting Dragon Knight's damage potential. Imagine that with a Mask of Madness, not a Mask of Madness, sorry. Oh yeah, actually you could put a Mask of Madness, but you could put, you know, a Moon Shard or a Daedalus. He would do wonders in this build, and I hope this helps you. I know the jail system has been a bit of a struggle, especially for some of you newer players, but I hope this helps you a little bit at least. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to all my subscribers. Take care, everyone, and best of luck in Dota Underlords.